Hello and welcome to today's LOL Esports Roundup. We're going to cover the news from the last day, as well as the LPL series that occurred this morning and the LPL slate that is scheduled for tomorrow. News: 100 Thieves let go of their head coach Kaz. Kaz had been with Mad Lions prior to 100 Thieves as an assistant, and only got, a few weeks, right? Only got 6 weeks with 100 Thieves, going 5-8 before being let go. That puts his record at 70-51 based on Leaguepedia and the coaching staffs he has been a part of on Leaguepedia in one of the 4 major regions at the highest level. He is replaced by Nuke Duck. Nuke Duck, yes, played with XL last year. Has no coaching experience whatsoever outside of this split. So I put alongside that Bjergsen. Bjergsen, a person that went right from playing to coaching, and then now as a player again. He went 42-21 with TSM the year he was a coach. So, who is the coach now? Is it Bjerg? Is it Nuke Duck? Is it Dan, who they brought up from Academy, who has been with the 100 Thieves Academy for the last 2 years? It's hard to tell. With so many veterans, with Nuke Duck on the staff, Dan, and then you have Bjergsen and Doublelift. Closer's been around a while too. Do you need a coach, really? Yes and no. A lot of people are going to say, well, this is because they, I already see the memes. Oh, he must have wanted to bring up Unforgiven, and 100 Thieves said no. I would say that's feasible. I wouldn't rule that out. Now, for he and Nuke Duck to play, that would have caused Closer to be knocked out of the lineup. I mean, I've seen some people say, oh, they should put Nuke Duck in for Bjerg and swap out Unforgiven for Doublelift, and then what do you do with Closer? Well, you put Closer in Academy, and then you play Yukino. I don't honestly know if Yukino's even old enough yet. I don't know if he's still 16, if he's 17, 18 years old. He's in that range of, like, we are looking at a player that might not actually be old enough to play in the LCS yet. So that kind of eliminates that whole silly nonsense when it comes to replacing both. I can see the case for replacing Doublelift with Unforgiven. I can see it. Do I think it solves their problems? No. Similar to like a Vitality situation, now Vitality is a lot better than 100 Thieves and in a lot better position. But you have issues that go beyond just one role, and just swapping out one player I don't think is going to necessarily solve it. This is more reminiscent of like maybe Fnatic or Excel, where you're like, okay, well, we have to make a move somehow, some way. Let's just do what we can right now. I will say that I think this is premature. I think Cash should have been, given. I don't like when coaches are fired after only a year. I think it's nonsense. Not even a year. At least after not even a full split. Like, let a person get comfortable and then see if they show growth, if they take the next step, if whatever's going on, and then we look from there, right? It's just it's definitely something that I don't really agree with. And you look at it, it's much easier to fire the coach than it is to fire the team, right? You can't fire the team. You have contracts and things like that, and I don't know if the coaches have as much security as players might with contracts. And with that in mind, it might just be simpler to fire him than make a bunch of moves on the team. Also, I have to look at, I don't know how much Nade has, stock in this team when it comes to being a former pro player in a esport. But if Nade makes these decisions, I have seen Optic for years have former players as head coaches and go through coaches and things like that. So it's just something to think about. That is the major region news. I'm 196-90 on my predictions. Went 1-1 today. Thunder Talk and Rare Atom. Thunder Talk win 2-0. They're now 7-4. Rare Atom dropped to 4-7. UCal was my MVP. He played Annie in game 1, Yone in game 2, going 8-3-15 for 30% of the team's damage. Wanfang put up a really sexy KDA, 16-1-9. Asum on the other side went 3-4-9 with 32% of Rare Adam's damage. One of those situations, again, where Rare Adam has kind of one player doing a lot of the work. I thought UCal played very well on the Annie. You know, the stat line, like I said, isn't as sexy, but I thought that the Annie it dealt a lot of damage, right? And the Bear Tibbers was a massive deal for Thunder Talk in that game one, ensuring that they won team fights. Really, he was playing very aggressive, and honestly, watching it, I was like, damn, this guy's really feeling himself right now. He got after Strive, outplayed a gank, did very well. Game two, not as great early game. He got ganked on the Yone, but when team fights occurred, I thought that the Yone was just as impactful as Wanfeng. Yone dealing a lot of the damage, and Wanfeng cleaning it up. As far as Rare Adam's concerned, I thought that Leon had some nice plays on the Gragas. Hoya had a really nice play on Gragas for Thunder Talk. He stole Drake with a barrel, which was interesting. But otherwise, Leon made some plays for Rare Adam, was pretty active in the early game, trying to get them ahead. But otherwise, they really, really struggled. BKR, a mixed bag. I thought his Ash was okay. There were some moments where his arrows were on point and other times where they missed, but that seems to be with most players on the champion. And then game two, I thought he was a little outclassed by Yao Yao. But otherwise, this was a Thunder Talk 2-0. I thought it was going to be 2-1 with the constant swapping of Thunder Talk supports and the uncertainty with what BKR was about. And Thunder Talk win 2-0. RNG and BLG, I thought RNG would take this one. They're 16th in the power rankings at 5-6. BLG 5-5 and 13th. BLG win 2-1. Bin led in damage, going 5-3-11 with 27%. Elk was my MVP, going 19-3-13. I thought that he really kept them in the games, especially in game 3. Gala 10-7-8, 29% of damage for RNG. He outplayed Elk probably. In game 1 and game 2, getting ahead in laning phase. However, he was not able to really do much with that in game 1. Game 2, obviously, they won. I think he was on the Aphelios in game 2, if I recall correctly. And game 3 started out early with a gank down in bot, and it was unsuccessful, where Elk really outplayed it. And that got BLG ahead. And then Elk was able to make things happen the rest of the way. Yagao, I thought, had some really good moments on the Akali in game 1. And did he play Rise in game 2, or did Angel play Rise? They might have both played it, honestly. But the Yagao's Akali sticks out. Bin, his Jax in their loss, I really wish he... Bin, I was thinking about yesterday, actually. The way I really view players and the way that I really think about best players in role, Bin, I almost am looking at as an exception, and I really had to give myself some thought on that, because Bin does not play multi-dimensional. And we saw that in game 3 with the draft, and it relates to the Jax as well. He picks Kennen in game 3. They win. The Kennen was nasty, don't get me wrong. But it was Kennen, Kindred, Rise in game 3, so Yagao did play Rise in game 3. And then it was, Zeri Blitzcrank or something in bot lane. And, what's the tankiness on this comp? In the comp, there isn't. And I'm like, does he even play tanks really? He plays the Gragas, but I have to look closer. I don't know how many Ornn games he has, how many Scion games he has. And what? Like I'm saying, it's possible that he's played 30 of each, and I just need to look at the Game of Legend, and he used to play him in the past and hasn't just played him recently a lot. But it seems very one-dimensional. Kind of limits what BLG are doing, because Shun, playing Kindred, he is a carry-oriented jungler through and through. Kindred and Nidalee sticking out to me as two champions he plays. Yagao, obviously, a super small champion. Puddle, seeing him play Gragas is always a treat. It's definitely a thing. But they got past RNG 2-1. Like I said, I thought RNG's bot lane got the better of BLG's in the early game in the laning phase, but BLG's outplayed them in team fights. Elk really cleaning it up. Bin's Kennen was disgusting, though, in game 3. in the end, he ended up leading the team in damage, which is why he led the team in damage for the whole series. You know, so those two teams in the middle of the LPL, really, and that's why they are where they are in the power rankings. It's hard to really grade them because on paper, both teams are better than what their records indicate. Both kind of just figuring out who can int less. And, power rankings are updated tomorrow, by the way, so make sure you stay tuned for that. Tomorrow's sneak peek LPL, we have two great series. So, like, the power rankings, right now I have everything done for major regions. I have an idea of which major region teams are going to go in and how many LPL teams are going to be in. It's just a matter of figuring out where everything ends up, especially because we have 4 of the top 9 teams here. I would say 15th through 25th is pretty well decided. Oceania is the only region that's playing right now that's a minor region. Today and tomorrow. Obviously, the other regions play the other days. But because of that, Oceania is not going to affect the top 25 ever again. So, with that in mind, the power rankings are pretty much set, except for these, the top probably 15, because I could see a world where if Weibo, lost 2-0 and got blown out, that I could drop them to, early teens or whatever. So we'll see what happens. EDG 6th, the Weibo 9th. EDG 8-2, Weibo 7-3. EDG beat LNG last week. Weibo beat Anyone's Legend. In week 2, EDG would win 2-0. 3 of the 10 starters from that summer matchup start tomorrow. The Shy for Weibo, and then JJ and Mako for EDG. Top lane was highlighted by the Discord. If you'd like to participate in that, there are threads daily where you can, it's called the pregame thread or pregame polls or whatever, and you can click on it and pick which matchup you think is the one most interesting going into the series. The Shy went 3-5-6 in the loss with over 1/3 of the team's damage with 36%. Ale at the time was with LNG, now across from him on EDG. After that, we have Top and LNG. Top 5th in the power rankings, 8-2. LNG 7th at 8-2. LNG coming off of that loss to EDG. Top coming off of a win against RNG. In week 4 of summer, Top would win 2-0. 4 of the 10 starters return. Tarzan from LNG, and then Tian, Jackie Love, and Mark from Top. Rookie and Scout is a matchup highlighted. Both players obviously not with those teams last year. Rookie being with Victory 5 and Scout with EDG. Obviously a classic matchup between two Korean mid laners that have played in the LPL for a long time, 2 former world champions. Definitely going to be a very tight series. Both of these are very important. Just for skill test, I guess, a limit test or however you want to put it. Just this is going to be a good assessment of where these teams are in week 8 with only a couple weeks left, right? So you're going to figure out what you're made of right now, what you have to work on before playoffs against some elite competition. It's like if they were playing Rare Atom or Anyone's Legend or LGD or whatever, they're not going to get a good grasp of what they actually need to do because those teams kind of stink. So these are going to be some tough matchups for these teams, but good test as well. So thank you for watching this video. If you liked it, like it, subscribe to the channel for daily League of Legends content. Follow me on Twitter, join the Discord, become a supporter, and thank you for watching.